Hello everyone, my name is Hristina Crenn. Today I have the privilege to start with all of you the second episode of the Let's Talk Show webinars. Today I have as a guest Sofia Tidona from Argentina. Hello Sofia, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me today.
You are welcome. Could you please briefly present yourself and tell us more about your academic background?
Yes, of course. Well, as you have just said, my name is Sofia. I was born and raised in the city of Buenos Aires, Argentina. I am an English teacher, but I am originally a translator. Okay, that's the first degree I got. Yeah, and I have been working as a teacher and as a translator for over 10 years now. I love what I do. I'm really passionate about teaching and translating. And, I am particularly interested in delivering lessons to students from around the world, not only from Argentina, from other countries in the world. I am particularly fond of cultural exchanges with people around the world. And thanks to my profession, I have been able to do that.
Wow, excellent. Very multicultural and very broad background you're having. I would say, but as far as I know, you're also an English language specialist, and you are translating documents very often, and you are passionate about the legal world. Um, could you please tell me your experience with the legal world and what you have done so far?
Right. Yes. I mean, that is the field which I am specialized in, and as a translator. And mainly, I have been translating personal documentation for people who are willing to maybe travel or live abroad. Okay, for maybe a year or so, they will eventually come back to my country. Okay, but yeah, I have been translating birth certificates, ID cards, passports, and stuff like that. And of course, I've been doing business contracts as well, business papers, all right, like business contracts, maybe a resolution, a court resolution, maybe a judgment and stuff like that. Yes, I've been doing, yeah, I love the legal field, and every shape it may take, I will go there and I will see what I can do, to help my clients get their translations done. And yeah, it's a very important, I would say, it's a very important step in a very long chain of different of other steps that should be, complied with. All right, if there's no translation, there's no communication available. Okay, so yeah, I'm proud to be a translator and to be part of this, to be like a very step, and one of the steps in this like long chain, all right, of different, of some other, chains that should be, sorry, steps that should be followed and complied with.
Excellent. Actually, you're right. Like for each life project that we're starting, we should plan it in advance and most probably know the advantages and the disadvantages of such a project. I was wondering whether you prefer more private law or public law.
Well, I would say that I prefer, let me just think about it. I prefer private law. Yes, I prefer private law. And maybe, when it comes to, but well, it depends, right? I'm kind of like a broad-minded person. So it depends on the situation and on the legal documents I should, deal with, and the topic I should tackle. All right. When it comes to international law, well, I'm really into it. But yeah, I have been dealing with, judgments. I mean, issued by courts located here in my country, right? I have usually the translations I usually do are the ones that are like from Spanish into English, right? That's the way I work. I don't usually translate from English into Spanish. All right, I do the other way around. So yeah, that means that the all the documentation and the documents and stuff, everything that I deal with, I mean, the origin of those documents are, the origin is my country, right? They are issued by bodies, government bodies in my country, and they are usually translated into English, all right, and maybe into any other, maybe into Italian or French, okay, maybe two languages, not only one, and that's the way it works. So it always depends on the case. There are many different cases and many different clients, and I don't usually do um, anything related to um, anything that is issued by accountants, because I don't like numbers. I don't like dealing with numbers, but that's another field that I have been related to as well. But I don't like it that much.
You're right, and working with children sometimes also can be very challenging.
It is.
Patience is the number one rule that the teacher should follow, especially about children. Now I would like to ask you a cultural question.
Mm-hmm.
Argentina is very famous for, especially in this part of the world, perhaps like 5 or 6 years ago, we were still watching the TV shows or telenovelas for children
Mm-hmm.
from the Chris Morena group, such as Chiquititas, Casi Angeles. After that, it was very famous, the Esperanza Mia,
Mm.
the show with Mirta Legrand, etc., etc. So I have learned so much about Argentina from this series and from these talk shows. So can you tell me a little bit? Are these series very famous in Argentina as they were famous in this part of the world? And
Oh yes.
are they still like still promoting them? Like recently, I heard that Chris Morena was 2 years ago created the series Aliados, and
Mhm.
etc. etc. So I am familiar regarding the Argentinian theater and cinema. And yeah, what can you tell us a little bit about that, for instance?
Oh yes. So absolutely. I mean, they have been really popular. All those TV shows, I mean, telenovelas that you have just mentioned, they have been, a massive success. Every one of the ones that you have just, mentioned, Chiquititas, Rebelde Way, Casi Angeles, all those, that belong to Chris Morena as a producer, as a TV producer. Yes, and so every now and then we can get a chance to maybe watch them again on TV. Maybe they are, on again. So we get a chance to watch all these TV shows again, once again, and everyone, I mean, we grew up watching these TV shows. I was 6 years old the first time I watched, I mean, the first episode of Chiquititas, and I grew up watching Chiquititas, right, myself. So when I would go to school, I would talk to my classmates about the episode we had watched, the day before and stuff like that. And it's part of our culture. And you mentioned Mirta Legrand as well. Mirta Legrand is like a legend here in my country. She is a TV host here in Argentina. And now, because of COVID-19, she's not in charge of her TV show herself, but she has been replaced, sorry, by her granddaughter. So her granddaughter is now in charge of being the TV host of her TV show. All right, so it's still on, but she's not there. Maybe when with the pandemic is over, she will come back. All right, because she is a very hardworking woman. She's and she's I think she doesn't like to talk about her age. She doesn't like to say how old she is, but she's probably more than 90 years old. So yeah, she's a legend and she's so creative and so smart. Yeah, we look up to her a lot.
Uh, Actually, you're right, and also I grew up watching these TV shows. Like I remember also Chiquititas and Rebelde Ways and Casi Angeles, and and then there were other Esperanza Mia. They were very popular in my country, and I remember that with each after each show was broadcasted on TV. At the end of the final episode, they will promote the concerts that they were done in the Gran Rex Theater
Mm-hmm.
in Buenos Aires. And there was always what I did like with these shows is that they will always sing songs basically, and we
That's right.
like definitely like they were in that time they were popular the songs of Lali, Escapare, the Dos Ojos, the Casi Angeles, and they were very very popular. So and I remember myself one day going to school and saying, singing the song, Dos ojos se van por viaje. And we were also singing that song and imagine where
Wow.
to believe, And I was like,
Wow.
saying, wow, like, Argentina had a big impact on the Balkan region for a very long period. And now they're the Turkish series
Mm.
broadcasted all over the world. So I definitely, one of my dreams is one day to visit Argentina and perhaps attend some of these concerts if they're broadcasted or scheduled for the National Theater there. Perhaps we can go together and eventually
Absolutely. Yes, I would
I,
love to.
and we know I still have feel that fascination when they will say, oh, there is a TV show broadcasted by Chris Moran. I'm saying like, oh, these were the TV shows of our childhood. We grew up with
Absolutely.
them, even though we are
Absolutely.
living on the other corner of the planet.
I mean,
um,
that's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, what you are telling me is so, I mean, it's incredible. So amazing. So, I didn't know. I mean, I kind of like knew about the fact that, the kids that were part of the staff, they would travel to Russia, okay, and that part of the world. But I didn't know about the fact that, I mean, the impact they had on the Balkan region.
Absolutely. We were
Okay, I
many
didn't know.
times writing on Twitter, like just come and visit Macedonia and other Balkan countries. They have done one show in Italy and one in Tel Aviv in Israel, as far as I know. And I have watched that concerts, and I say, oh, they were in this part of the world, and I wish they could come to my country, And we were saying, but it was a period of life where basically now nowadays children cannot really understand it because they were not part of our generation. And
Mm,
these TV shows were very popular because at the same time they were not, just love stories, but also they were giving lessons about life, like how you
absolutely,
should be
yes.
courageous,
I
brave,
agree.
work hard, etc., etc. But let's come back now to the English legal world. You are
Okay,
working for British Council, and
right.
for how many years are you
Well,
with?
not so many. Okay, started, the whole I mean the whole online world. I mean, I was interested in becoming part of the online world, as a teacher. So, back in 2018, I took a course from the University of Leeds, an online course on blended learning. That's how I started, to become more and more interested in becoming an online teacher. So I learned a lot, how you can actually manage an online classroom, okay? I mean, I'm not talking about a one-on-one lesson. I mean, I was like trained to, manage a whole classroom in an online environment, which is quite challenging. And, I learned a lot about different, digital resources you can use and how you can make your lessons as creative as possible. So that was the very first step I took. And then, well, there was this job opening available. I applied and I got selected. I mean, I got chosen for this job opportunity. I started working for them from then onwards, and it was a great experience. I mean, that there are branches, British Council branches all over the world. We have our own here in Buenos Aires, and you have two possibilities. You can either be like an online teacher, but you should go to the office, okay, and deliver the lessons you have, but from there. because they will offer you like a space where you can actually teach, all right? Maybe the equipment and stuff. You don't have to, okay, use your own Wi-Fi connection, etc. You will use their own, all right? You will have the space to teach there, okay? But it will be an online session. Or you can be a home-based teacher, all right? And you can teach from home, and there are lots of different requirements you should meet, okay? You may probably know about them because we have been talking about them, like, having a clear background, good lighting, good position of your laptop, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely a really hard task to do. And I was wondering if you prefer teaching online or in a formal classroom, basically.
Hmm. That's a tough question for me because I have tried, both. Yeah, it's a really tough question. You know, I would say it depends. It depends on the environment because, as you may probably imagine, there are, certain, I would say, when it is a face-to-face, class that you have to deliver, you have to, whenever you have to choose which school you are willing to work for, you need to analyze in detail. What is the background of the school? The values they pursue, okay, and stuff. Because if you're not aligned with what they want the children to learn, etc., you won't be able to work for them at all, you know. And here in Argentina, we have, they are called colegios bilingües, right? We would, in English, we would say dual language schools, all right, where children attend lessons like all day long, right, from 8 to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So they will have Spanish lessons and English lessons. And yeah, those schools are very, they have their own, I would say, uh, way of being. I don't know how to call it. Like, it is a subculture, I would say. Something else you should learn about before you decide, you make a decision to start working for them, because it's a completely different world. And I come from a Catholic background, so that's a comparison I am trying to make. It is completely different if you attend a Catholic school, all right, or if you decide to attend a dual language school. Well, yeah, the approach will be totally different. So
Absolutely.
I, as a teacher, yeah, should
Absolutely.
adapt to their, the approach they use.
Uh,
Yes.
I don't know how you are managing the whole situation and teaching kids that are almost 4 years old, and
Mm,
at the same time you're teaching adults who are basically perhaps more than 30 years old, and the feeling must be different, like
yes.
approach must be different. And so, dear friends, I would like to inform you that in case you need an English language teacher or an English language specialist or a translator even, Sofia is the right person to contact. You can find her contact below this video in the part description. And as well, if you would like to share your story with me, you can contact me and or message me in my social media platforms. Um, I would like Sofia to tell you thank you for accepting this invitation to be part of the Let's Talk Show webinar episode 2. And as a final question,
Mhm.
if you were again 20 years old, what will you do?
Wow. Yeah, I would definitely pursue the same degrees that I decided to pursue when I was 20. I wouldn't change that. Maybe I would add, maybe I would start, maybe working from a younger age, like before 20 years old. Yes, that is something that I would definitely change because I didn't do that. I did that, but as a private teacher. But I would have done like, I would have looked for like a face-to-face teaching opportunity, at a school at a younger age. That is what I would change. But as far as the other things that I did, well, I'm happy with my decisions that led me right into where I am now. So I'm happy.
I will say to you, Sophia, as a final message: keep believing in yourself, even when no one does. This is basically the one of the models of this talk or show webinars, I will say, and also dare to dream. Like I really, truly hope that all of your dreams will come true, and that soon, perhaps, you will get an better job opportunity as a English language specialist. And also, perhaps you can just briefly tell us about the British Council. Is it easy to get a job in the British Council? Because it's a very famous organization, a very selective one as well.
Well, you will have to attend an interview, okay? And I mean, if there are openings available, okay, if they're offering, a position for you as an online teacher, you will have to pass a job interview with one of the managers, okay, one of the coordinators maybe. There are several programs on. So maybe this coordinator will be in charge of the program that you will be joining, okay, if selected. So yeah, and there will be some, I would say, webinars and stuff that you will have to attend, for you to be trained on what you have to do later, okay, as a teacher, because there are several like guidelines that you have to comply with, okay. It's not that, I mean, there are other platforms where you will be free to do and maybe to use your own approach, but in this case, they will ask you to use their own, right? So you have to align yourself with their approach, and you will have to get, to be familiar with the approach they use. All right. So yeah, those are the steps. The very first steps that you have to follow until you are eventually selected.
Yes, actually, you're absolutely right, and I have noticed that also the American Corner or the British Council, they are two different organizations, but they
Mhm.
also language English language classes, and they have totally different approach. So
Mhm.
like mastering the approach and mastering the skills, it is a very difficult task. Personally, I don't see myself as a teacher in a public school. I think that
Mhm.
I can't teach 40 students at the same time. I'll perhaps quit the classroom because they are very noisy, and I myself a very disciplined person. But I think I see myself teaching individuals, a small group of 10
Absolutely.
students. And
Well, I totally agree with you on that. It always depends on the approach of the school. That is why I made this comment about Catholic schools. At least in my country, and I'm talking about Buenos Aires, okay, in particular, because I cannot like make generalizations about this. But as far as I know, and the schools that I have been in touch with, those schools that are very, where you will find like this type of disciplined education, well, those will be the Catholic schools, because the other types of school, well, children are like, get this freedom to do. Okay, it's okay that they have freedom to do and select what they like, and stuff, but maybe this may get out of control, because they are little kids and they need some discipline, right? So we need to find like a happy medium.
absolutely. Thank you very much, Sophia, for being part of this second episode. I wish you the best and take care of
Thank you.
yourself. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you so very much for having me.